So I'm going to do, I guess, a quick review before I return this thing. I guess that'll tell you where I'm at with it. But this is my Ender. It's an Ender 3 S1 Pro. This is the first, excuse me, 3D printer that I have bought, and I'm telling you, it's a fantastic little machine. I have nothing but good things to say about this Ender. There's parts right there that I made. Here's a part here that I made. It's fantastic. It's done. Man, sorry, got a frog in my throat. It's done everything I've asked of it. So after I bought it, I absolutely loved it. I bought another one, a little $150 job. It came in broken, but I fixed it. And it's actually done pretty well after I fixed it. So this printer has done great. The other one, once I got it running, it did okay. For the money, I don't think it's really worth it. It's one of those little Weave Fun or something, little, and it's a Bowden style. This is a direct drive. The filament goes in directly. So I had ordered a Sovol. So this is a Sovol. And I ordered a V2 or a SV02 or something like that. Well, it got damaged in shipping, so I took the return, and actually it never even made it to my door. It was apparently damaged before I ever saw it, so I never even got the chance to try it out. But this is an SV04. When they didn't deliver that one, I was looking at this, and it's like, hey, this is a dual extruder, and it's direct drive. It's not Bowden style like the SV02 was. So I really like the idea of that. Plus, if you look at the size difference, there's a pretty big difference in size here. The biggest thing I was looking at is this has a duplicate mode, so I could make a part here and a part here at the same rate that this one would make one, was the consensus. So I got this thing in. I went through the directions, went online, looked at videos, did everything I could to kind of get prepared to get this thing right. And a couple of things that I noticed is this is your adjustment. So you can adjust this to match this one. And when I first got it, you couldn't turn this. And some idiot had put these set screws in there so tightly that you couldn't move this at all, and that's how you have to adjust for the height difference. The next thing that I noticed was, if you look at the bed, you have 4 adjusters. You have 1 here and 3 over there, or 2 over there, and then this one, you actually run out of adjustment. They've got a bracket here. And you can run out of adjustment with this one. I kept trying to get this thing calibrated, and it never would calibrate. And eventually, now I will say this, it's a solid machine. I would think if it worked like it was supposed to, that it would be a fantastic little machine. But, you know, the build quality seems to be pretty good. Assembling it wasn't terrible. Matter of fact, it was actually easier to assemble than this one because the directions were kind of lacking on the Creality, where this one was pretty easy, pretty straightforward, worked pretty well. So the bed on this thing, so I kept one of the first things you do is you adjust this with these little plastic spacers. It comes with 2 of these. And you make sure that both of these match, which I did. Went through the whole process probably 15 times. I've spent probably 8 hours trying to make this printer work. And this is what I kept getting. So here's the bed, and you can see all these scratches right here. After I would level everything and do everything like you were supposed to do, and make sure that, you know, you take a piece of paper and slide it under there, and everything was right, just like I do with this one. I would start a print, the print head would come over here and bury itself into the plate and just scratch all through where it was supposed to be printing. And, you know, occasionally I would get it adjusted on the fly with the adjustments in here, and I would kind of move the head up, and I would get a print or two going. But man, it just destroyed the flex plate thing here. You can see the scratches that are in here. Eventually I kept going back and forth, and I thought it was something to do with this one, so I tried single mode with just this. And when I tried single mode with just this one, it actually pulled this head out, and they collided in single mode when it's not even supposed to use that head, which was weird. I was able to get this one to print once, but I had to start printing and adjust on the fly as it started laying down the skirt. But what I found out was essentially what it would do is it would come out after you did the adjustment, it would just lose it. And it always seemed to bury itself or go way up. And I would save settings, I would go through and redo and do exactly what the directions said. It just never worked. And looking at comments on YouTube videos, apparently this is kind of something that they're maybe known for. I saw one comment where a guy said he had to return 4 of them before he got one that worked correctly. I updated the firmware, and then I went back to an earlier firmware. I tried everything I possibly could. I really, really wanted this machine to work. I wanted something else other than this one, and I wanted the dual extruder to where you could actually use the second one to do water-soluble supports and things like that. And my idea was I could, you know, have ABS on this one because it's got an all metal hot end, and I was going to start playing with ABS, but I wanted another one that I could put some PLA and some TPU in and just have 2 different heads. And if I wanted to make something out of TPU, I could pick this one. If I wanted something that was PLA, I could pick this one. If I wanted to make an ABS part, I could pick this one. And, you know, it would kind of do double duty. But I think it was somewhere around $600, and I hate to say it, it's going to get returned. I've already started the return. It's going to go back, you know, and it's not that I don't know what I'm doing. I have messed with this, you know. That one beautifully works like a dream. The other one that I bought, it's a little small one. After I fixed it, it works like a dream. I have, you know, moved CNC mills. I've set them up. I've made my own CNC parts. I've done, you know, about everything there is, and I'm very technical, so it's not on my end. I have tried everything, and it just keeps forgetting the Z height. You'll go through the calibration, you'll start a print, and it'll bury the head, or it'll print way up in the air, and it doesn't matter what you do, it always just loses the Z height. So I don't know what's going on with this printer, but it's going to go back to Amazon tomorrow. I hate that I wasted 8 hours, but, you know, I guess it's a learning experience. So this will be my printer for a while, I guess, until I can get something else going. So that is my review on a Sovol SV04. I would say be very careful. And if I had to recommend one, especially if you're just now getting started out, if you've never 3D printed before, this one, it was a little more on the pricey side for what you get, but it shows. It worked beautifully right out of the box. It did exactly what I wanted to. This is an Ender Ender 3 S1 Pro, I think is what it is. It's got a lot of the upgrades and a lot of the things that people complained about the earlier versions, and like I said, it's fantastic. I unboxed it, I put it together, and within an hour I was printing parts, and it's never stopped printing good parts since I've bought it. And honestly, it printed for probably 2 weeks solid after I bought it. Literally 24 hours a day. As soon as it got done with something, I would start it on something else. And you know, the plate is still in good shape, works great, has been fantastic, and I think it's actually double-sided. Nope, it's not. I thought it was. But this one, you know, you can see it's scarred up. I can't even get this filament off of here. It won't even come off. I could probably scrape it off, but you know, with my other one, I use this little scraper. And man, the parts fly right off of that, no problem. If it's hot, if I let it cool down, then they just pop off. But this thing, I couldn't even get it off with the metal scraper that it came with. It don't come off. And it's cool. It should come off, but again, I hate to say it, but this thing is terrible. At least that's been my experience. I don't think I'll buy another Sovol anything at this point. So I hope that helps somebody and saves you the hassle if you're looking at one of these. If you are Sovol and you want to reach out, then I would be happy to try it again, but I'm not going to pay for another one at this point. I would update my review if I had another one that actually worked, but like I said, right now, I'm very unimpressed. The Creality, nothing but good things to say. This thing is just garbage, right out of the box. I never got one successful print off of this printer, and I worked at it hard for probably 8 hours. It's almost midnight now, and I've got work to do for work tomorrow, so I've got to go back out there and finish. I thought this would be an hour's, get it up and running and maybe start a print or two and then go finish work, but I spent 8 hours. So now I get to spend more hours at work tonight. So you guys have a good night. I hope it helps somebody down the road. Goodbye.